What's up guys, my name is Khan and we're back today with more main assembly. And in the last video of main assembly we built this awesome car and kind of showed some of the tuning, but of course the devs went ahead and updated and they're actually running an open beta right now. So I'm going to include the link in the description down below. If you want to try out main assembly, now is probably the best time because the open beta is currently free to play on Steam. So that's kind of super exciting, but of course every time the devs update the game, this happens, and all my vehicles break. The active wing still works. It still provides aerodynamic downforce, but as you can see, when we try to turn and stuff, we sort of lost all the handling because they did, in fact, go ahead and change how some of the driving physics works, which is good. I'm sure it's better than it was. However, it means all the vehicles I've currently built need to be fixed. It reminds me of the early days of Scrap Mechanic, where pretty much every time the devs actually did update the game, everything was broken. So today what I wanted to do is sort of get rid of this vehicle for now, and I want to maximize the speed of a vehicle. So the first thing we're going to do is just build a really simple dragster, and we're just gonna, you know, stretch it out nice and long, and we're gonna put some tiny little wheels on the front and see if we can make something that's very, very consistent in a straight line, just to try out all the different motor settings. When I was playing with that concept car, there were really two things I had to worry about. One was, of course, handling, and the other was top speed. And after a while, I figured the active wing was the best way to do that, to maintain good top speed on the straights, but then also get the handling in the corners. And now that it's all broken, I feel like we should just try and make a really simple drag car setup, and then try and see how fast we can actually go in a straight line. What properties can we use to make the best drag car? I'm gonna look and see. I haven't actually seen if they changed too much. So we've got small motors, medium motors, and large motors. Did they actually change the size of these? No, they're all still the same size. Okay, the suspension, the drive motors, we definitely want suspension. Wheels, XX large, those are monster truck wheels. X large, XL racing. See, these are the drag wheels we want. Yeah, that's perfect. What do we got for small wheels up front? Standard small, racing small, medium wheels, standard medium. They're all pretty tiny as caster ball. Oh, that's sweet. All right, and then for thrust, an RCS thruster. I think that, I'm pretty sure that's new. Not exactly sure. Chassis, that's all pretty much the same. I'm just trying to see if they've actually added any crazy parts that I don't know about. Universal joint. Well, that's interesting. That actually could let us make vehicles that actually have proper drive shafts and stuff. Not exactly sure how useful that would be. Sensors, smart sensor, speedometer. This all seems pretty much the same as before. Speakers, yeah. Camera, yeah, we had that before. Controllers, of course. And some lights. Fantastic. All right, miscellaneous. We've got tools, cockpits, cosmetics, and weight. So that's all pretty much the same. But again, the physics have definitely changed a bit. So let's just set this up real quick. Let's put some large suspension on the back here, right in the center of that plate. Look at that. And we'll put some massive wheels on this thing. And that's basically going to be the back section of this dragster. And we'll kind of, you know, tune this up a little bit. Now, dragsters are mostly open concept, right? They're very open cars, I thought. So we'll do something like this, and then we'll stretch this all the way out to the front, taper it down a little bit, and then bring this forward again, and we'll do another small suspension setup. I remember if you did straight motors, they like to bounce a lot, but let's just test that and see if that's still the case. Because if you had straight motors with like a little wheel on it, those are too small. We need just a slightly larger wheel. Those are too fat. What about something like, there we go. Okay, this isn't gonna steer. That's fine. Let's just see if it bounces. Does it bounce? No, it doesn't bounce. I wonder if they fixed that. Because I remember if you had straight motors without the suspension block, they were very, very bouncy, and they'd constantly kind of bounce along the train. This actually seems... Oh, no, there's a bounce. Okay, maybe we'll use suspension. We need the steering anyway, so let's just set all that up. All right, tiny suspension little block. Perfect. And, of course, we need those small wheels back. Wonderful. Now, look, we've got fully functional dragster. Completely done. Oh my goodness, this thing, it does not have acceleration. All right, so let's just finish off the cockpit here. We're just gonna bring this up. We'll taper this in. You know what? That looks slick. That looks great. We're gonna have to put a wing on the front. I know dragsters usually have a spoiler on the front to help keep the front wheels down a little bit, and then they have a big one on the back. So we're definitely gonna have to put both of those. And I want to try and put one of these cockpits in front of it just to look, you know, kind of, oh my god, that's huge. Holy cow, that looks so cool though. Okay, we have to somehow make this work. All right, that looks pretty decent, and we're just gonna kind of, you know, try and clean it up there. Look at that. That looks pretty sick. That actually looked kind of like a drag cockpit. If you're sitting in there, that looks awesome. Okay, the front of it, we're pretty much just gonna leave out just this giant distance. I don't really like how that curve interacts there, but that's fine. And then on the back, we need to make a really, really large spoiler. So we're gonna just leave that taper in like it does, and then we'll bring this up to kind of match where the spoiler is going to form. And we'll, of course, cover this up. Perfect. So that'll be sort of the back end of this. And we will put a massive spoiler sticking off the back of that, and then a little tapered one on the front. And then it's pretty much just going to be a lot of settings adjustments. I honestly don't know what changes have been made in the open beta. I know the vehicle physics have changed. I'm pretty sure the aerodynamics have changed a little bit too, because my planes don't work either. So that's definitely another thing we're gonna have to play around with, is building a new plane again. But it's definitely gonna be changes for the better. I can't imagine they would be making the physics worse, but I don't know exactly specifically what's changed for the beta. But it's okay, we'll just try this out and see how it goes. This is actually starting to look kind of like a dragster already. Now, there's normally an engine here, which we don't obviously have. I'm wondering, should we just make a fake engine setup? Although this kind of just ruins the whole aesthetic appeal, doesn't it? Yeah, you know what? Let's just leave it. Who cares? The engines they're just going to be built into the suspension. It's fine. That looks pretty good. I think it needs to be wider. Normally these are some massive spoilers on the back. Maybe a little bit longer even. Okay, maybe that's too long. I don't know how much downforce we need. Again, we're going to have to play with all this, because more downforce obviously is going to keep our wheels planted, which I guess gives you more grip, but it's also going to, you know, prevent us from getting that top speed we really want. I think now we need to bring the front end forward more. It just seems really stubby. It's got to be, you know, I feel like the dragster itself has to be a little bit longer. Let's grab this and this and this, and let's just drag all this forward. Perfect. It's already looking so much better. Okay, and then for the front, we're gonna bring this out, and then we gotta extrude this more. Actually, we can delete that and extrude that to there. And then, of course, we gotta cover all this side up. Like so. And then we're just gonna put a wing coming off these little sections right here. And we're gonna have to angle this wing a little bit, so we'll bring this down. That looks kind of like a dragster. It's a little bit ridiculous. The front wing, you know, I think on the dragsters, the front wing isn't really that sloped. I don't really know what the front wing's for. I looked at a few pictures of them, and they all seem to have a front wing, but I don't really know why. I mean, I guess it's to keep the front wheels down, but you'd figure that they have a wheelie bar too normally, so they don't really need that. But anyway, let's change these materials here. So we can just go here. Materials light, aeroplastic. There we go. Aeroplastic, aeroplastic. I don't want to make this out of aeroplastic. We're just going to leave that as regular plastic. We're just going to do the spoilers as aeroplastic. Did that change them all? I think it did, right? They're all aeroplastic now. So that way the spoilers will have maximum aerodynamic effect, and pretty much everything else in the car is just going to be the regular reinforced plastic. And actually, is there a light aeroplastic, aluminum two-tone light plastic? There we go. So everything else is just going to be light plastic. If we just double click, it changes everything for us. So there we go. That's pretty much our simple dragster. And let's put some paint on it. So colors, paint those black, paint these black. All our aeroplastic parts will just be, you know, black. And then our dragster itself, I guess we'll just paint that white. Now, I just want to make sure we don't have any solid walls like that, just so that we're not accidentally, like, collecting air for no reason. There we go. Another one we can delete. We'll leave that back one on because, you know, that kind of finishes up the chassis. And, of course, we're going to cover this up like here. I'm pretty sure the way they calculate physics is the air goes through the vehicle itself. So it's not fully realistic. I might be wrong on this though, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure they calculate the physics of like this panel and then every panel underneath it. So if we delete all the interior panels, it should be, you know, slightly better than what it was. So let's just try this out as is. We're not going to adjust any motor settings. This seems like it's got a really slow acceleration. I don't want it to be four-wheel drive. So actually we are going to adjust that one setting. Let's go delete the front motor. So motor small, you're not allowed to do anything. You are not, yeah, no, you're deleted. Let's just remove that there. Motor large, motor small alpha brake, nope. Motor small alpha steering, yes. So there we go. So those two small motors, just gonna leave them off to the side. And left shift, I mean, we're not gonna do anything for that. So let's try this out. This is just straight rear wheel drive. Can't even pop wheelies. And it's front wheel steering. Okay, awesome, perfect. Dragster test number 1. Let's see what this does.
Get ready. 3, 2,
Oh.
1, go.
All right. Well, it goes straight. Going straight is good. Going straight means a lot. My concept car now, it does not go straight with the acceleration. There's some way that it's too fast, and it just doesn't get up to speed. This is a very slow 12.5 second drag car. Oh, 12.94, almost a 13-second drag car. Okay, that's not good. That's really not good. Let's try and play with some settings, though, and see if we can get it to go faster. First thing, we're gonna just flatten out all the wings. I don't know how much downforce we really need, but I know downforce definitely slows us down. So let's just flatten out all these wings to start, and we'll just kind of bring them all down. It's still gonna have a little bit, but it's not too much. And let's see if this makes any difference. 12.94 is the time to beat. This is, as you can see, it's definitely a lot flatter. It's still got a little bit just because of the slope of the car.
2,
But,
1, go.
all right. It started a little bit behind the line, but that's okay. Still going pretty straight. It's not looking good though. 11, 12. It's literally 12.93. It's pretty much the same time. Okay, well, this car just sucks. So now what I want to do is start playing with some of the motor settings. So in order to do that, we're just going to go to the programming menu. And on the large motor, we're going to crank power up to max, acceleration up to max, speed to power ratio. This is that weird ratio that I talked about last time, which is sort of like if you want to make a tractor, you put it at 100 and your motor will have a lot of torque, but it won't have a lot of high-end speed. And if you want to try and make a race car, you put it at 0, but if you don't have enough power, like if you have it at straight 0, it won't even accelerate fast enough to get you going because it's just doesn't have enough power to push it. And then of course we've got camber angle, which is kind of cool that this is a setting we can adjust. And if we change this, you can see we can just crank it to 10. Now you should notice when we spawn this in, they're very cambered. So I don't think we need camber angle at all for this, but we definitely are going to crank the others up to max and see what happens. So let's just try this again and see if the power and speed, acceleration, and all that made a difference.
3, 2,
So let's see what happens.
1, go.
It still doesn't spin out, which is really good. You know, a lot of vehicles, when I gave them max power, they spun out. Holy cow, look at how much faster that is already. That was a 10-second drag car. And, oh god. It does not, this thing cannot turn. So that actually, 9.4. It's already faster than the concept car I built. The concept car, I think its best was like 9.26 or something after all this tuning. And this thing is just crazy quick without it. So now we get the extremely fun job of playing with the speed to power ratio. First thing I actually do want to do, just for the sake of, you know, trying it to see what happens, is what happens if we do maximum camber. So if we do maximum outward camber, it looks ridiculous, but what does it change our performance at all?
Ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
I feel like this should change the handling. Oh, it does. Look at that. It wants to slide. It really, oh, it's got the speed wobbles. Wow, okay. And it does make it a little bit slower because of those speed wobbles. So camber is actually interesting. It makes it a little bit worse. Probably makes it better in the turns, less likely to flip over. But on straight line speed, like you can see, the speed wobble was a real thing. I'm pretty sure with the concept car in the last update, the best speed to power ratio I found was like 54.5 or something along those lines. So let's just go to 55 right now and let's see what it does. 9.4 at 50. Let's see if 55 makes that a better number.
Get ready.
Oh,
3,
overshot.
2,
Let's go.
1, go.
Okay, still does the spin out. That's really good. Are we gonna beat 9.4 though? Oh my goodness, I think it did. I can't, it was 9 something, but it seemed like it, oh my goodness, the jumps this thing takes, holy cow. 9.18. Okay, so it does get a little bit faster. Let's go up to 60 and see if it makes a difference. Now again, 60 is more towards the torque side and less towards the speed side, which I know people are gonna be like, well, that doesn't make sense, but I think the acceleration is more important than the top speed of this thing, and getting up to that top speed in as quick a time as possible is what matters. So let's just go to 60, and I feel like we're gonna see it drop off now. We're gonna see it get to the top speed really quickly, but not be able to actually, you know, get a good time because that top speed just isn't high enough. So let's see what we got here. Uh-oh, that's bad.
1, go.
There we go. Perfect. Yeah, see, it accelerates in a straight line, but now our top speed, it feels like it might be a little bit slower. 9 point, what was it? Well, 9.18 before? 9.16. You gotta be kidding. That's faster? All right, let's go 65. Let's see. At some point in time, it's gotta peak off, right? It's gotta stop, and then we'll be able to tune exactly what the thing is. That's weird because definitely with the concept car, 60 just killed it. It was not as fast as when it was at like 55.
Ready. 3,
Uh-oh.
2, 1, go.
There we go. All right, come on. I feel like you can see it visibly slower now, but yeah, oh yeah, waste. So there you go, 10 point something. It's not even worth our time. All right, so just for the purposes of showing you guys the contrast, 60 was so far the best. Just to show you guys the absolute bare minimum, this is what happens if we put it on a speed of 0. And then we're gonna fine tune it after this and find the exact number to get that best time. But look at this, you can already tell. Look at how slow this is. Look at this, it's like, once it gets going, I'm sure it'll be great. We don't even really need to take this on the drag strip to prove this is gonna suck. So let's just go and find that perfect number.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, 9.16, I think it was, is the number to beat. I think this just beat it. This is with 59. So 9.16 was the 60 mark. This is with a 59 power to speed ratio. Now 54.5, again, that was the fastest I got. 9.11, dang. If this car can beat 9 seconds, that would be crazy. And again, this is with only motors. This isn't using any thrusters. We could obviously just slap a million thrusters onto this thing and make it literally as fast as possible.
Get ready.
No, I don't want to do that race.
3, 2, 1, go.
Come on, let's go. Beat that 9 sec. This one seems slower. It feels... Is it actually the exact same? 9.11? That would be amazing. Wow. It's the same. So I just changed it from 59 to 58, and it made no difference. Maybe we're at the max capacity. Maybe we're at that flat plateau. It seems like the power to speed ratio is like a giant parabola. It's a big curve. So it kind of peaks at some point where the speed is maximized for that particular vehicle, and then past that point, the speed drops off, and then past the point in the other direction, the speed also drops off. So let's just do a few more tests and see if we're actually at that max point. It would be so cool to actually graph all these points and really like understand the performance curve of your particular vehicle. But of course, in order to do that, we would have to run like a million tests. So we went from 59 to 58 and got the same time. So let's go to 57, but I feel like these are literally the maximum points because 60 was slightly slower, and if 57 is slightly slower as well, then we know that somewhere between 59 and 58 is actually the maximum speed. To be honest, I love doing this kind of testing, especially in a game that actually has changing aerodynamics, changing physics. It's, oh, did that get faster? Or is that the same speed again? Yeah, 9.13, so he's just got slightly slower. So it's got to be between 59 and 58. That's got to be the maximum curve point for this particular vehicle. So let's go, you know, right in the middle of those two, the 0.5, and see if that's any faster than the 9.11. I don't know if it's going to be. I think we probably just hit the flat point of the curve. But it's really, really cool how this kind of testing actually works. All right, here we go. 58.5, let's do it.
Get
Is
ready.
this the fastest dragster?
3, 2, 1, go.
I also feel like if we cheated and we accelerated through the start zone and timed it perfectly with the timer, we could beat the 9-second mark. 9.16. Wait, did that just get slower? How does that work? It was 9.11 on both sides, and now it's... Was that just a bad run? What?
3, 2, 1, go.
That run seemed really, really good. That seemed so good. Is that 9.08? I think we found the top point of the curve. If we had 58, it was 9.11. 59 was 9.11. And this is 9.08. I think we've made the fastest dragster that we could possibly do. I mean, we could keep playing with like decimals and smaller decimal points and maybe get another 100th of a second out of it or something. But of course, the problem too is this start zone is not necessarily the most consistent. If we park slightly forward, slightly back, if we just cheat completely and do something like this and go 3, 2,
1, go.
see, look at that. Look at what a cheater. We're already accelerating before we even reach it. So of course, there is a little bit of variation there that kind of lets us cheat. I mean, look at that. That's like a 7-second, less than 8 seconds even. But I don't really like to do that because I obviously want to see how fast this car is just completely from a standstill to going full speed. But of course, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys enjoy this sort of testing? I really wanted to do this because after the update, my concept car broke and I was really sad about it. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna build a dragster and tune the dragster to find out what the best speed setting is, at least for the dragster. Obviously, the concept car's got different weight, different aerodynamics, which means it's gonna have a slightly different tuning. But now at least we kind of have a starting point to know that, you know, if we start at this 58.5, most likely that's a pretty decent power point. I really enjoy doing this kind of testing because I really like trying to understand what makes the best possible vehicle. But definitely let me know what you guys think and let me know what other vehicles you would like to see me try and build or try and test. I feel like there's still a lot we haven't explored in this game. There's a whole level of automation that I really haven't even touched. So there's definitely some cool things we can do there. And with the smart sensors and stuff, of course, we can always make really cool little robots that follow you around and all sorts of things like that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. While you're at it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.